I'm on 9. Are you enjoying it? Hi, Life Glitch. Hi, Honey. Hi, Sky. Hi, Bunny Boy. The mages are serves. They're very... We're in the future. We sure fucking are. Hi, Alex. Hi, YouTube. Everybody say hi, YouTube. So true. I want to play as Dry Bones. We played as Birdo last time. I love my boy Dry Bones, so I want to play as Dry Bones. He's never usually playable. He's a cutie. Do you not like Dry Bones? What is your... Are you a Dry Bones auntie? I tell us, Essie. Wait, Goomba's booty Boardwalk? His what? His booty? Oh! Guys, I updated my OBS and my OBS looks completely different. I don't think I've updated my OBS in like 2 years. I was like, oh, maybe I should update it. How about you? NATO. Oh. Oh, does it capture like... Oh, no, it doesn't. Okay. Okay. Girl, that was so bad. You're gonna get me heated. I also like that you censored an extra letter but said the entire name already. It's funny. Got it! I was doing a drag show when I... Oh. I'm excited to play Death Jr. later. That game's really cute. He should have. Actually, that would have been cute if he was for like the feature for the game. I'm gagged that they made him the Dr. Thugonomics the cover star. Very cute. My controller's dying, so I'm like... I asked my mom, I'm like, girl, I'm gonna need some of those. Hi, Slay Mama 123. Ooh woo. Girl, is she gonna get a shortcut? Oh, she's a cheater. Somebody rob her. Oh, a 2v2. Can we get some good minigames today? When we played the other day, we got shit minigames. All right, looks like we're still getting shit minigames. Right. Not tilt controls. Guys, I didn't realize this game had so many tilt controls and motion controls. I'm like, oh my god. Best Mario Party, but like, the fucking controls, girl. Girl, we gotta fight for this. What the hell? Push them. Girl, don't hit them. Oh my God, Waluigi, you dumb fuck. Girl, we need to get this. Tonight, we gonna get this. Tonight, we gonna get this. Girl, hey, they totally didn't get that. That seems a little cheap. Okay, girl, we need to go in the middle, right? And then we're gonna turn. Yup. There we go. Thank you, Waluigi. I'm kind of giving Maurice this long hair, the blazer. Mother Maurice. A Daisy ball, Lashana ball. Girl, what are you doing? I haven't left my rooms in like a couple days. Or for a while, frankly. I just changed I actually just booked an extra flight to stay in Texas longer. Because I'm bothered. I just want to be out of the house. She gets a star, guys. This is a star space. Nice. Travel 20 spaces for 20 coins. Okay. I'll do it. I'm down with it. Hi, Slay 420. Oh, I can't afford that. I'm so sorry. You look very pretty. Thank you. I just did this hair for the event this weekend that I'm going to, so thought I'd give it a test run. Hopefully it looks good in the back. I'm worried about how I look from different angles, like how I look from this side, how I look from here. Like, I don't want it to look like gross. Thank you, bestie. You probably want me to rot and crumble in solitude. I would never say that. I would never say that. The one TikTok where the girl is doing the 2003 cosplay and she turns around and you can see all her tracks. Shut up! That's what I'm afraid of. Well, that's what sometimes I look like on stream. Like when I do an updo, I would never wear an updo outside because like the wig and the kitchen look terrible. So, oh my God. We get the shittiest mini games. You always say, thank you, bestie. I'm a little nervous though. But I'm meeting 2 of my idols this weekend and I'm so excited. So I thought about it. I was like, girl, if you don't book an extra flight to stay longer and meet one of your idols, you are going to regret it. So I was like, let me do that. So I booked a later flight just in case I don't get to meet this WWE superstar so I can meet them officially. So I booked an extra flight. I did the PayPal Pay in 4. Hi, Curtis. But I like, in my, like, my gut, I was like, girl, like, you're gonna fucking regret it if you don't. So I booked a flight. My flight was supposed to leave at 12 o'clock in the morning, like, not 12 a.m., but 12 p.m. When I say 12 o'clock, I mean 12 o'clock lunchtime. Like, I wouldn't say, like, what? Okay, I'm not gonna have that conversation. But my flight was originally for 12 and I booked it another one for 7. So I could go to the meet and greet. And it'll also make me feel less stressed to be in a time crunch. So I'm down with it. Like, whatever. Like, when am I gonna be like, oh yeah, I met with some of my idols? Like, come on. And also my original flight was supposed to go from San Antonio to Houston and then back to Boston, and I was like, I would rather just do a one flight. I don't think I could get off a plane and then get on a plane in the same day. So I was like, let me book like a one-way flight. I'm begging Engage to not make each chapter like 1.5 hours of gameplay on hard. I'm playing on easy mode because I'm a baby. I'm a cute little baby. I'm a baby. Ugh, I'm so excited to see Onyx too. We made plans to hang out after I get back from Texas. That's like one of me and Onyx's things. Hey baby, what's going on, baby? Hi, Cammy. Thank you, Cal. I'm excited to take like a mini vacation. I deserve it. Hi, Sauce. And blip, blip, blip. Would you care to take some candy? I don't know, girl. I don't have enough money. I don't have enough money. Then why'd you order a fucking pizza? How do we feel about Mario Party DS? I think it's a good Mario Party. I just haven't streamed anything on my DS in a while, but just because it's like, it's hard for me to stream things on my capture cards. Like, since we're streaming on the Wii right now, I think we'll play like a handful of Wii games while I have it set up, because otherwise it takes like a full fucking thing to get it all set up. I think it'll be worth it. I think so too. And then it'll also make it so I can get in drag to meet Liv. What I am worried about though, I might have to go to like, I'm gonna have to go to a public restroom and like de-drag, which is gonna be very sus, but whatever. Hopefully the hotel, they usually do later checkouts and the meet and greet isn't, so I'm gonna see if I can get a later checkout. Guys, I don't think you understand. I'm so excited to take a shower in a hotel. Bitch, I'm running up that water bill. When I go to a hotel, I run up that fucking water bill. I do not care. Because here, in my house here, there are 5 children from the ages of 13 to 23 that shower. So there's no fucking hot water. Bitch, I haven't had a hot shower in like months. I get in the shower, it's cold. Like, it's terrible. I'm excited to like sear my skin off with the heat of the shower. I need it. You got to see Onyx perform? What? When? I would have went if I knew you were going. Oh wait, did they, is that because they traveled? Oh guys, look at my shape. That was good, Nem. I'm a very good artist. I was very good at geometry. Did you guys know in school geometry was the only class I got an A in ever? Yeah. The circle right there? Okay. I didn't know you were a friend with Bast! Oh, wow. Work. But yeah, Onyx kills it. I miss them so much. Like, we never get to see each other anymore. We never get to hang out. Like, I need to, like, that's gonna be one of my goals this year, is to just, like, see my friends. I haven't been able to see my IRLs in so long. Girl, I'm gonna steamroll this Toadette bitch. I'm about to run her over with my car. If I get anything less than a 2, I swear to God. Nice. Wrecked. Oh, wow. I didn't know that, Slay. And how long have you been here? Like, almost a year plus? Like, wow. That's crazy. Hi, Anna. Hi, Miasma. Did you see another women's hashtag trending? Yeah, I don't want to talk about it because it's gonna get me like heated, like I'm gonna get angry. Especially because I'm, you know, working with WWE. Cut the VOD. I will say it's just kind of disrespectful to not do anything about some of the women that have paved the way for Raw. Like, one of the most iconic matches in history is Lita versus Trish on Raw. Like, a random match on Raw. It's one of the most iconic matches in WWE history. And they couldn't even showcase anything about that. Good morning, House Music. Your makeup is gorgeous. Thank you. I didn't want to hit. We got the mic here. We ignore here. I mean, it's just tea, though. Girl, if you know me, you know I'm never gonna filter anything else. Even when we're fucking sponsored, I'll be like, what is the tea here? Because you're gonna get the intel. You're gonna get it. Oh, so we're playing baseball. Motion controls, lovely. Hi, Arrow. You look so good. Thank you. I appreciate it. I got this blazer at Forever 21. Okay, it's a one-hander, not a two-hander. Oh! Oh! I thought I did well, but they all beat me. Fucked. Looks like Callisto. Yeah, that was embarrassing. I went to Forever 21 recently and the only thing I bought was blazers. I think I got like 5 blazers because I was like taking pictures and like trying them on and I was like, I didn't realize I got 4 or 5 jackets. This is one of them. Ooh, big numbers. Oh. Do you guys know what that space is up there? That green space up there will send you all the way back to the start. Horrible. Girl, if we get that, oh, I'm gonna be plucked. Plucked-zillaed. I hope you get 2 twos. 2 twos. A 2-2. Get it? Oh. That is so embarrassing for her. Yeah, I talk shit to the computers. Fuck you. I haven't seen Dynasty, but it made me mad they canceled it. The one on Netflix with Elizabeth Gillis. So annoying. Thank you, Anna. Girl, I have to run for my life. Is this Nope with Keke Palmer, the UFO? Have you guys seen that movie? I watched it recently. It's on Peacock. If y'all got a Peacock, you should watch it. That movie is insane. Beautifully shot, beautifully made. Amazing horror movie. Horror movie that isn't like gory and like, it's more of like a thriller. More intense and sci-fi. It's called Nope with Keke Palmer. N-O-P-E, like the word nope. Like, nope, I'm not doing that. It's in the, like, it's in the cinema trilogy with Us and Get Out. It's by the same director. In NAR, it's, in Australia, it's NAR. It's NARP. Yes, it's so good though, watch it. It's really good. If you want to watch a horror movie, but you don't want to be like jump scare, like watch Nope. It's really good. I think that for all of Jordan Peele, is it Jordan Peele or Peele? All of his films are great horror movies to watch and like notice, but not be like jump scare. Us might have a couple jump scares, but. Have you watched The Last of Us? No. I'm not watching it intentionally. Yes! Oh my god! Peel like I peeled an apple. You peel an apple? I'd have to disagree with you, House Music. I don't think this is the best Mario Party map of all time. I think the train from this game is the best one. Because, you know, trains rights. You know when that one person that hosts the reality show posted a flag for trans rights? That was trains rights. I don't know them personally. I think they're kind of famous. Nope is so good. Yeah, it was really good. I was shocked. I liked the like twink character. He was cute. Oh, well. We should play Mario Party 10. Mario Party 9's kind of botched. I mean, we have to play all of them, right? I want to go back to the back and play Mario Party 1 and 2 and 3. But we'll go around. Sorry, Nem, but I'm rooting for Daisy. You know what? Fuck you. Take the subscription back, bitch. Just kidding. Thank you for 7 months of subscription, Rue. I appreciate it. How you doing? Which Mario Party is your favorite out of all the Mario Parties? Honestly, I'd probably say Mario Party DS, just because I have, like, very fond memories of that. And I think the story mode in that has, like, a dedicated story. Like, it's not just the Mario Party maps. It's, like, a actual story mode. And I used to roleplay on it. And y'all know I love to roleplay. I like to do the little... Oh my god, I'm so scared right now. I'm Princess Peach. Ah! Did that with every fucking video game when I was a kid. Especially Mario Party. There's a mini game in Mario Party DS, if you look it up. It's like it's like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and you get shrunk down, and you have to do surfing on a railing. I used to pretend all the time. I was like, oh my god, we've got shrunk down. Somebody help, I'm scared. Like, I was ridiculous. Like, I was so gay. It was so bad. I would love to answer that question, but I don't know if that's in my contract. I'm gonna say no, I'm not gonna tell what that tea is. Girl, just keep signing the contracts. Who cares? Just write your name and then move on. Okay, this is impossible. Okay, literally die. Oh! I meant die in Minecraft, like the video game. Oh my god, should I bring a sign to... Oh, I don't even know if I can say that. So many secrets I have to hold into my bosom. What am I gonna do? What do you think of the new Fire album? Controversial yet very brave opinion. Sorry, my tongue is like tired. We need to get her a nice pillow. I think the new Fire Emblem game is better than Three Houses. Oh! I just think that the new game is so dynamic. All the additions are better than the original for the Switch, Three Houses. I think the characters are great. I think the only thing that doesn't do well is the story. The story isn't as good as Three Houses, but I think everything else outweighs Three Houses. Like, I like the giant cast of characters. I like getting to know the characters. I love all the supports. I think all the characters are a lot more signature and likable. Like, I don't think there's a single character I don't like in the new game. I think there's so much to do. I just love I love the aesthetic. I didn't like the teacher-student, like, romancing thing. I thought that was very bizarre. But I really like the new game. I think it's crazy good. I think it's better than Three Houses. I just like the character designs better. I think I didn't like in Three Houses too that there weren't like any really bad guys. I like that in this game the bad guys, like, it's kind of like Genshin, like how you invite some of the bad guys to our team in Genshin, like Tartaglia and Scaramouche. And now we have Ivy and all the. I haven't gotten that far, but like no spoilers, but it's pretty much confirmed that all of the bad guys join your team. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I'm pacing myself. I'm trying not to finish it. I could have finished it by now, but I'm taking my time with it. I don't want to finish it super fast. I want to enjoy my time. So yeah. Yeah, baby, I would get it. I would. I highly suggest it. Do you just see them try to attack me? What the fuck? Oh, girl. Oh my god, this is so bad. Oh my god, oh my god. Oh my god, stop. Oh. Oh. Oh, come on, I had momentum. Oh, we did it. Good. Motion controls are very unbearable. Oh my god, yeah, I love that game. But I'm very excited to show you guys what I'm doing this weekend. I'm really excited, like super excited. I can't wait for you guys to see what happens. I'm also excited to hopefully do something with Onyx in the next couple weeks. Like, we've been trying to do a project for the last like year and a half, so I'm really hoping we can get something together. Who's your favorite Fire Emblem character? Do you mean from this game or in every game? Like, an all-time favorite? I will say there are some icons from games past, like Three Houses, that are not replaceable. Like Mercedes, Dorothea, Edelgard, even Rhea as the villain, like some of the best characters. Manuela, like, they can't be replaced. I wish they would have made their way back, but there's no way they could have. I can't like choose just one, I'm sorry. I really like Clan, one of the twins. He's super cute, like he's very charming. I like that he, like, his entire personality is like, I love pickles and I'm gonna make you some pickles. Like, it's super cute. I actually really like Alfred. I like that he's very queer-coded. I love Hortensia. Hortensia is like one of my favorite characters. One of my favorite character designs of all time. I like Saline. Yes, I love Saline. Princess Saline, she's a serve. I like Ivy. But there's just like so many that I like. I can't just choose one. Oh, I like Alchrist. Alchrist is such a cutie. He's like, I hate myself and I'm so embarrassed, but I'm like, no, I love you. Ken and Emerald Star, thank you for the follows. Sorry, I'm trying to get comfy. Might have to raise my camera and my chair a little bit. I can't, like, I'm like so low to the ground. There's a femboy with cat ears in the end game. I forget what his name is. He's super cute. What edition of 2K you're gonna cop? I'm thinking of getting the Icon edition. Listen. I better... I mean, I am getting the deluxe edition because I love all editions of the game, and I definitely am going to be spending money. Honestly, I'm probably gonna get it provided because I'm a next maker, but if I was going to, I think that's just public knowledge. Like, I mean, I can say that. Like, that's just like, the next makers get the games. Like, my sister wanted the 2K basketball game and I asked them at 2K and they were like, yeah, we can give it to her. They treat me very well over there. Like, I love everybody at 2K. 2K's been very sweet to me. I'm very blessed for the opportunity and the opportunities that are coming. Like, they are honestly some of the sweetest people I've ever met. Like, Noelle, that is, she's a 2K next maker but works at Gearbox. I love, I'm trying to think, because there's a lot of people that were just leaving the company and like going into new opportunities, but like when Cammy was working there, but Cammy works at Bethesda now. Cammy was one of the sweetest people I've ever met. Josh works for Tiny Tina Wonderlands and the Borderlands series. I'm currently working with Mike. Mike is a very sweet gentleman. Constance and Joe Chuck are some very nice people. So shout out to all of them. They've been very sweet to me, very accepting, very positive about trans inclusion, not being demeaning. It's very sweet. I love it. Hi, Lee. No worries. Don't apologize. I'm just saying. I think it was I think I became a next maker after WWE last year, so I didn't get to have it provided, like, because I already bought it, but I did buy the deluxe edition. So if I wasn't a next maker, I would buy the deluxe edition, just because in the grander scheme of things, it's gonna, because like sometimes in community creations, people make like, because you guys know, when you play a WWE game, people upload their creations to the community network. Sometimes the characters are locked behind DLC stuff, and if you don't have that, you can't install the character. So I usually get the deluxe because I want to be able to install anything. If anybody, like say someone makes a good Ashley Mazzaro character, like I want to be able to install it and not have it locked behind, oh, you need to buy this DLC pack. So. Hi, Safety. It seems my new stream schedule is really good, having all of the UK besties, all of the American people that don't stay up until the ass crack of night. And then the Australians wake up and walk into stream. It's like 5 a.m. or something over there. I don't know. 6, 7, 8, I don't know. I like can't even see myself right now. Like Dry Bones is so tiny. Waluigi's carrying us, I'm gonna be honest. Girl, y'all better turn my Twitter notifications on for this weekend, because I'm gonna be living it up and I'm also gonna be a little tipsy, so I hope you guys enjoy my content while I'm getting lit, Lala, having a good time. It's almost 10 a.m. Oh, that's interesting. Marshall, wake the fuck up! Imagine he walked in on that. He's such a man sometimes. Like, literally, I'll be like, can you wake up earlier so we can hang out? And he's like, nah, I'm fucking sleeping. Bro just sleeps and... I don't know. I don't know if that works. The follow age, I think it's like broken, but I could be wrong. Sometimes it breaks my bot, so I don't know. Oh, Waluigi, that's so embarrassing. Guys, look, this is the one I was telling you about. Ooh! Yikes. I'd be very upset if that was me, girl. All the way back to start. Ooh. Big L. Like the L on your forehead. The backwards upside down L. Drying my hair and the entire bathroom went out. My hair dryer doesn't work in the outlet in the bathroom anymore. I'm like, whatever. I always air dry my hair anyway, though. If I do a blowout, my hair gets way too frizzy. Oh, really, honey? I didn't even notice that. Well, thank you for having my notifs on. Are you gonna stream your Rumble reaction or are you gonna live tweet it? Looks around. Let's just say I won't be home to stream it. Looks around. Oh, we gotta beat the shit out of each other? Okay. Yeah, fuck off! For anyone just joining, I'm playing Dry Bones. Oh? Try you wanna fight, bitch? Oh! Oh, don't hurt me. Girl, this is gonna last forever. Oh! Got her T. Oh, just me and Daisy. 1v1, 1v1. Oh, watch this bitch. Oh! Got her so good. The way she's just standing, so real. Yeah! Ah! Oh, I'm falling. Girl, I'm falling! Oh, I didn't even have to do it, girl. If Naomi returns, well, I was confident that she was gonna return, but she retweeted something that Sean Ross tweeted and was like, this is not true, like they didn't offer me, like whatever, and I was like, oh girl, she's plucked, like she's not coming back. If she, girl, get a job, she just ran me over. And she got a DK space. Guys, she's gotten stars from just landing on spaces. Like, get a job. Meow, meow. I love the host of Mario Party 8. I love the hat. I love the character. I want to do a drag look of the Mario Party 8 guy. He's cute. Very gender. Oh, she could fuck off. Girl, it's not Nito. Shut up, you fucking nerd. Take coins from other players? Oh yeah, let's do it. Girl, I'll take all the money I need. Watch this. Oh, does he turn into a bat? Oh, he's so cute! Look at him! Girl, watch this. Okay. One coin slay. Look at how I ate that. Come on, eat. Eat. Okay, nice number. Okay. Not a good round for me, I must say that. I must say. Girl, they all cheating. So, where is the Nintendo Direct announcement? Did you guys see my tweet earlier today? Where is that at? We're supposed to have a Nintendo Direct announcement by now. They usually do a Nintendo Direct in the middle or the start of February. Like, where is that at? People are saying Nintendo is gonna be in the Super Bowl halftime. Not the halftime. Well, the commercials. So... I would like to see it. Interesting. Oh, this minigame's fun. It's like a Haunted Mansion, like Disney ride. Interesting. Yeah, I have no idea. Yeah, I hope we get a Nintendo Direct soon. We haven't done like a showcase in a while, and I have some outfits that I haven't used. I would love to be a reporter on the scene. Oh, they take multiple shots to kill. One shot. One kill. Widowmaker here. Girl, I wanted to get this one hoodie on Blizzard's website, and it's a Widowmaker shirt, and it has like an embroidered Widowmaker like thing on the front. Girl, it's 85 bucks, and it doesn't even come in like XL. It's only small and medium. I was like, 85 bucks? What the fuck? Oh, guys, we're in the base. This is House of the Dead, down. Isn't there a new House of the Dead game for the Switch? I swear I'm correct. I love you reporting. Last year's Game Awards was so fun. Wasn't it? I love doing the award show, like, co-streams. They're the fun. They're the fun. They're fun. Girl, I'm like, it's gonna be crazy the day Tears of a Kingdom comes out. Can you believe it's coming soon? Like, it's like 4 months away, guys. Like, it's crazy. Not even, like 3.5. Like, that day that game launches is gonna be crazy. Like, I feel like the internet's gonna crash. We're gonna have to do some serious protecting of the stream if I'm gonna stream it for no spoilers. Girl. Shut up! It did not get delayed. You're lying. Oh, this fan just broke while I'm literally just holding it. Literally nothing happened. Because my man hands. Oh, this didn't age well. This is a fan from RuPaul's Drag Con, and it says VH1. Drag Race is definitely not on that program anymore. We're on a shitty network that cuts the show and puts Todrick Hall on our screens. Oh! Daisy annoys the shit out of me in this game. What are you yelling for? Girl, his letter, my favorite reply on the letter was like, somebody said, damn, he gave up on that cursive real quick. So funny. All right. The 2 1s? Are you kidding? Thank God I got a 10. That was ridiculous. Did you guys just see that? I'm not defending him, I just don't know. There is a grocery list. I feel like you can Google it and can find like a Reddit thread. There's a seriously grocery list. He's just an asshole. He's a dude. A dude. Am I allowed to say dude? D-O-U. Girl, I'm loaded with money. Look at all this money, honey. I think my least favorite thing he's done is when he was on Celebrity Big Brother and he was like talking to the house guests while he was obviously being filmed because it's Big Brother, and he was shit talking Manila Luzon and brought up Sahara Davenport, and Sahara Davenport passed away a couple years years ago, and brought up Sahara and was like degrading their relationship. I was like, you're sick. Like, you're a sick fuck. Like, there was no reason to bring that up. Yes, look it up. He doesn't say Manila Luzon, he says a certain someone, and then he mentions the death of a previous performer, which is Sahara, and like trashes both of them. I'm like, you're sick in the head. Like, how does he not know he's being filmed? Like, girl, it's Big Brother. And he was runner-up on that season. That's because nobody liked him and said, we'll bring him to the end and then whoever else is gonna win. Easy. This is gonna suck. Not motion controls. Can we not just press A, girl? Whoa! Okay, girls, carry me, carry me. Oh. Yeah. 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 I taste blood in my mouth. I smell blood. I taste a lot of blood, actually. That's weird. That's suspicious. Poor Waluigi, he's about to land on a Bowser space again. Oh, never mind. And I, oh! And I oop. I forgot he was like a regular judge on All Stars 2, because I'm rewatching All Stars 2 right now because like I just wanted to rewatch the Drag Race season. He's on it every episode. I'm like, oh, jump scare. Steer what? What is a rudder? What is that? A leaf? Girl, bye. Girl, bye. I'm being pushed. I'm being pushed. How is that fair? Everybody just pushed me. Toadette hacked. Who won? That was... Can someone roll that back? That was like seconds. Like we were close. No, he did. He said that on Big Brother and thought he wasn't being recorded. I gotta come visit Safety. I want to smoke a fatty with you and... Well, with you, because your boyf doesn't smoke that. But I want to be in the essence. The vibes. They'd be incredible. So true. I love Minx so much. I miss all the IRLs. Like, can you believe, like, it's so sad that, like, TwitchCon happened and, like, I don't get to see those people again. Like, it's so sad. Like, I miss seeing people. Like, I miss hanging with Marisol. I miss hanging with Joy. I miss hanging with Minx. I miss hanging with Lacroix. Like, it's so sad. Also, I think they confirmed that TwitchCon isn't going to be in San Diego. I was like, what? Why? It was perfect. Someone was saying it might be in Chicago. I was like, why? It's gonna be cold. If you do it in October, girl. What? Someone said they're gonna do it in like the middle of the country, like in like some middle of fucking nowhere. I'm like, what? Like Ohio, can you imagine? Oh look, there's Cheap Cheeps. Where's Maddie? Someone wake Maddie up. Toadette, can you fucking steer? I don't know. TwitchCon's at my house, guys. Oh my god, party. What's that one Steam game? It's called like, oh, I think it's called House Party. TwitchCon tease. Oh my god, Sims. When they say, this year we have decided to do TwitchCon digitally, and they just make everybody into a sim. Yeah, basically, Batty. I don't know why they... I didn't go, but I knew a lot of people did that. I don't know why they would, like... I don't know if the rumors are true, but people are saying that it might not be in San Diego, which I think is bizarre because I thought the location was amazing. Like, the weather was nice. Like, there were so many hotels. There was the Boardwalk, then the San Diego Zoo, Disney. Like, it was just a great spot for the con because, like, everybody could do whatever they wanted. And because there were so many people. Like, so many people were there. And the convention center was great. Do we think I can get a star? I don't know. Thank you, MSK. What's your favorite Mario game? Probably Sunshine. Oh, we could get another star if we get high enough roll. Maybe, I don't know, Cammy. I mean, affordable for the streamers. Twitch has enough money. It's not like they don't. You know what I mean? Not a battle minigame, girl, please. Oh, my. No. Okay. Oh, my fucking head. The motion controls, girl. It would be, but I think I mean, they would have to announce it now. You know what I mean? They can't announce TwitchCon last minute. They gotta do it soon. If it's gonna be in the middle of the summer, it needs to be announced soon. Oh, I want the golden. Oh, they attack you. I didn't know it was like defense. Okay. I'm horrible. I probably am so annoying. That's probably why I don't hang out with anybody off stream. Oh, goodbye. They got abducted, just like Nope. See, if you watch Nope, you can see that. Oh, don't watch Nope if you have claustrophobia, though. There's one scene in it that's trigger warning claustrophobia. You can probably just like cover your eyes, though. All right, guys, we can definitely secure a win because we didn't win last board if we get higher than I think a 5. So let's hope we got high numbers. Big numbers. If it was gonna be in the summer, I feel like they would have announced it by now. Yeah, but they do a lot of questionable things, so I don't know. But yeah, I feel like they would too. The only good thing about Twitch is that Jenny works for Twitch. Real. I could see that. That could be cute. Destroy half the coins. Oh, girl, let's do it. Fuji AF. Let's ruin them, girl. We need higher than F. We need 1, 2, 3, 4. Great. Awesome. The one, like, this game literally are you listening to me? The game knows. I feel like every time I say something out loud, it's like, hold on. Okay, well, that was good, though, still, because I made it so Toadette can't buy a star. So it's just between me and Daisy, so let's hope Daisy doesn't get a bonus star. Why does Waluigi have a rose in this? Where does he pull it out of? Where is that coming from, Waluigi? Don't roses have thorns? That cannot go in your butt. Booty so big, Lord have mercy. He just has them in the games? Wait, really? Is that a detail that I missed? Hi, voice manager. Hi, mermaid. That is strange. I never noticed that. I need to read this message after we finish this map, and then we're gonna switch to Death Jr., so. Oh my god, a volcano? Oh, girl, we could die here. I mean, Dry Bones is already dead. It's kind of scary to think about that Dry Bones is just one of the Koopa kids with his skin melted off. Isn't that kind of scary? Oh, you can jump. I didn't know. Oh, I win. I'm scared. And technically, boos are dead people, right? Because boos, ghosts, dead, you know. Well, the lore behind Dry Bowser is that he's just Bowser with no skin. So it's probably the same thing for the Koopa kids, is that he's just, his skin is seared off. Which is kind of weird, but... Speaking of skin seared off, do you guys know that one scene in Terrifier 2? Watched it the other day. I was not, I had to go outside for a walk after I watched it. It was something. I didn't think it was gonna be that bad. Girl, it's bad. I was like, oh my god. Cause like I work in SFX. Like I've worked on movies. Like I worked on The Purge election year for SFX. Like I know what happens, but I was like, girl, stop. But like, I was like, stop, please. Oh, I win this, easy. Nice. Girl, don't watch it. Also, that girl literally getting brutally murdered because she didn't give that guy candy. Like, is it that serious, Ma? Oh, it's literally gore prawn. It's so bad. It is the most brutal scene I've seen in a movie. I was actually like, I can't watch this. Girl, yes. Anyways, I win. We won a board. What a triumph. Oh, are you surprised? Was that shade? If you're interested, if you're watching this on YouTube or rewatching the VOD, you can look up, very trigger warning, very gory. It is a horror movie, but it is fake. Look up Terrifier 2 Alley death scene. It's on YouTube. You have to look it up. It is scurry. It is very brutal. Very brutal. I'll describe it for you. I'll give you the rundown of what happens. Here, let me describe. This is what I messaged my good friend SlayMama123 describing it because it was literally insane. I had to describe it play by play because I saw those TikToks that were like, oh, this is the worst death scene in a horror movie ever. So I was like, that's interesting. I want to inspect. Like, I want to know what the tea is. So I went to go watch it and I was pleasantly very disgusted with what it was. So let me describe to you what happened. So if you don't want to watch it, you can hear what happens from me. So this is a horror movie. It's called Terrifier, and it is a mime that goes on a killing spree, essentially. So he's kind of like It the Clown. So he goes on a killing spree on Halloween. So he breaks into this girl's house after he this girl doesn't want to give him candy because she's saving the kid. She's saving the candy for the kids because it's Halloween night. And she's like, sir, no adults can take candy. Please go away. And then he gets angry and murders her. So he breaks into her house. He stabs her in the eye. He drags her across the table while stabbing her in the eye. He then punches her and throws her to the ground, pulls her hair and grabs some scissors, cuts her hair, and then decides to take the scissors and scalps her head off, exposing her brain. Then he pins her to the bed and starts skinning her alive, breaks her arm, cuts her arm off, cuts the rest of her skin off, skinning her alive, then throws her onto the floor, pours bleach on her wounds and salt, exposing her organs while she's skinned alive, and then her mother walks in on her dying. Lovely. Not only does he break her arm off, girl, he like does a helicopter dick with her arm. Like he like breaks her arm off and goes, woo! I'm like, oh my God. Hi, Persona. You know, some stuff doesn't need to be made sometimes. Yeah, it was bad. Hi Goose, I'm so sorry, I was telling a story. Why couldn't Bayonetta's child be fashionable, gay? I don't know if that's the answer. I mean, she just needs to be pretty. She doesn't have to be gay or non-binary. She just needs to not be stupid and ugly. Those are some cute flowers. How about